Okay, so this is my writing and editing portfolio. You can tell from the homepage. I list professional writer, reliable editor, constant reader, right at the forefront, so you know what this portfolio is about, what I'm about. I list these three things because they're what I most value and how I want to portray myself. I chose this typewriter font face to instill this vintage appeal that I show throughout my website. And because I feel like typewriters are such a classic writer thing, as well as the coffee stains. I don't just include them because I love coffee, but because because it's such a classic writer and editor thing. I feel like we're always drinking coffee, we're always spilling coffee on our manuscripts. So I made sure to include some coffee splatters, as well as up here on my name, I have this coffee ring and the coffee splatter. So I definitely include that throughout my portfolio. Up here is the home button. It's a quill, and it's like a vintage illustration to further instill the theme throughout. Here is my about page. Here I include this photo of myself reading Edgar Allan Poe. I do this to kind of hint at my favorite genre. My favorite genre is horror or science fiction. I think I throw this kind of a little bit throughout my portfolio itself in other ways. But in this photo, I do it with Edgar Allan Poe. I also do this with my little personal blurb at the bottom here. I talk about how I love science fiction, horror novels, and listening to the latest true crime podcasts. So that's kind of like a hint. So this is my resume. I wrote it down. I go into my courses that are relevant to what I want to be as a professional. I have document design, grammar and editing, writing. I also list my experience. Here's my internship with Jogletep. This is my editor side. I go on to explain that I was proofreading my mentor's book, and I would also edit online articles for the online journal, making sure that they were suitable for publishing and for an online audience. And then for her campus is my writing side and my bookish side. I was responsible for writing and publishing one book review a month for a digital audience. And then here are my skills: track changes, proofreading, copy editing, light and heavy line editing, technical writing, document design. My essential skills are communication, research, I'm dependable, I'm able to work independently or remotely. I think I described that I was working remote for Jogletep, and so I want to say that I'm able to work remote. And I'm organized, another skill that you need when you're working remote. And also I have my contact. I have my cell phone and my email. And then this is a button that will take you to the PDF version. But I'm not going to click on it because it messes up my screencast. Here I have my writing, my short stories, my editing, my published pieces is my work page. So these buttons will take you to each of these pages, but I also have them available here, so it's kind of easier to access. So you don't have to keep clicking back to my work page. So this is the writing page. You still see the coffee splatters. And kind of the cursive font, or the handwriting font I chose because I kind of feel like it's it was like a writing font, with the handwriting and scribbling some notes. Kind of reminded me of that. And I also included on every page I included a quote from a author that I looked up to or are special to me or inspire me. So yeah, this one's from Ray Bradbury, and it's relevant to the page because he talks about writing. It says, "Your intuition knows what to write, so get out of the way." So for this writing page, I chose lots of writing pieces that are very important to me and that I love. So for this one, this was probably my favorite, the Skill Man and Me mock article. It was from a project where I had to pretend to be a freelance writer. And I had to choose a specific publication and then gear, I had to write something and I had to gear it towards that publication's values and audience. So when I saw Tor.com, it's a science fiction and horror magazine kind of online, and I saw that that they had nostalgic movie reviews, but a lot of their movie reviews were from like the 80s, like there was like the Goonies and Back to the Future, and I noticed that they didn't have any Universal monsters, so I wrote one about Gilman, who's my personal favorite Universal monster, and I go in and I explain like what he means to me with these nostalgic movie reviews. You talk about why they're nostalgic for you and what they mean and why they're important, and so I go in and I talk about why Gilman is so important for the horror genre and what he has done. He's inspired Steven Spielberg. There's references in Jaws of Creature from the Black Lagoon, and also Guillermo del Toro his movie The Shape of Water is directly a reference to Gilman and Creature from the Black Lagoon. So I was really proud at how this turned out. It was a really cool project to do. It looks exactly like what you'd see on Tor.com. So I was very happy with it. And then I have some literary analysis, a document analysis, where I go in and I talk about the rhetorical appeals and elements in this coffee company illustrations. And then I also have my short stories. I have these short stories that I've written. I also designed the covers on Canva. So I designed them to specifically appeal to my overall portfolio aesthetic. So like the black and white photo with the bug, the retro TV, and this also swirly font. That's just the woods, but it still fits. And then this typewriter. And then I also gave the option to be able to read my short stories. I wanted to showcase this because my creative writing is very important to me. And so I definitely wanted to show all sides of me, and not just writing and editing, but my creative side as well. And then this is my philosophy on editing. I wanted to showcase this first on my editing page because it's about my outlook and how I want to portray myself as an editor to my clients. I go into it and explain like how being a writer and reader affects my work as an editor, because I understand all the hard work that goes into writing. So I want to showcase that first for sure. And then I have some editing for Jogletep. I have an example from me editing my mentor's book in the making, and then an article that I edited. I have a proofreading example, which is a physical copy, to show that I know how to do proofreader's marks and I can do other work, not just electronic editing. And then I have line editing and developmental editing examples as well. And then my published pieces. So these are were all published on Her Campus. They're all book reviews, and I wrote them for the Her Campus website and for their audience. And I included the links on these buttons that will take you to the Her Campus website. So like and they're all the genre that I'm interested in. Like Recipe for a Perfect Wife is kind of historical, but it still has like true crime elements. And then The Halloween Tree, and Bird Box is a horror novel as well. But I include, like for The Halloween Tree, I write that this was published for the Her Campus website and written for an online audience, but it was also written to be published the week of Halloween, so I had to keep this in mind when writing this book review, that this had to be written for people looking for something spooky and nostalgic to read. So I include little things like that. And I also took these photos, all these photos for the books. Not all of them are included on the Her Campus website, but I did take them for the portfolio specifically, to kind of all fit the same aesthetic and look the same way, because I thought it kind of look nice and fit the overall theme. And then the contact takes you back to the home page. I have my email, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn with these buttons that are all fit the same illustration as my home button and those buttons on the work page. I made sure to include social media accounts that I use regularly and I'm active on. And then this will take you to my email. And my email is also available down here, so people know where to contact me. Well, thank you for listening.